At the beginning of the month, Nebraska's National Agricultural Statistics Service listed 61% of Nebraska's winter wheat as good to excellent. The next look at the shape of this year's crop will come at the beginning of March, but Nebraska Extension's Bob Klein says some growers are concerned fluctuating temperatures might have taken a toll on plants. We talked with Bob in North Platte Tuesday morning about why recent weather might have negatively affected some of the state's winter wheat.
Yeah, there's been a lot of concern because of the warm-ups we had and then also cool downs. And we say that, if we get temperatures over 50 during the daytime and then above freezing at night, that wheat wants to start growth, especially if the soil is relatively dry, because dry soil cools down and warms up about 6 times faster than moist soil. So that's where we have the biggest problem, is where we have dry soil and then get these extremes in temperature during the daytime and then keeping above freezing at night. So there is some concern out there.
Would you classify the soils as dry, or are they moist right now?
Well, it depends where you're at. Most of it's pretty moist. We've had some pretty good snowfall and so forth in some areas and had some rain at planting time. So in most cases our seed beds are pretty good at planting and it's carried through the fall here. In some cases, we got some excessive growth last fall, but not in many areas. Our biggest concern is on terrace tops and so forth. They dry out from the wind and so forth, and then we can see some winter injury on that. Right now, we would not expect widespread winter injury at this time unless the conditions continue and we get some more warm weather and then some real nasty cold weather and so forth following, without giving a chance for that wheat to kind of harden off again.
So you don't expect that it's going to be a widespread problem. Is that because of the moisture situation?
Yeah, because of the moisture we had and pretty good seed beds and so forth. Another thing that we had at planting time was good this year is we could get these drills and get the seed where it should be placed. When it's really dry sometimes and soil gets hard, we can't get those seed placed deep enough, and then those crowns are real close to the soil surface. And that's where we can really see lots of injury, because those crowns are really subject to the warm up and cool down, and then wheat starts to grow and so forth. So we like that crown to be in the soil, and that depends so much on our depth of seeding at planting time. The other thing we can have is a big problem sometimes is these big drills, and then we don't get enough weight, especially on the outside plant units and so forth. And they run pretty shallow, and then that wheat's not placed very deep, and then we see a lot of injury because of those crowns being near the soil surface.
As farmers start to think about maybe fertilizing and weed control, what are some things to keep in mind as we get towards that time of year?
Yeah, one of the things we found several years ago in some research we did here in the North Platte area is that when we combine fertilizers with herbicides, that sometimes we'd have some injury. We never know exactly when this is going to occur. Now, we think there's a better possibility of having injury this year because of the weakened condition of some of the wheat, because of these alternating high temperatures and low temperatures and so forth. So our general recommendation is, as soon as we get good field conditions in the spring, go out and put the fertilizer on, and then wait and then time the herbicide when it's appropriate for the weeds you're trying to control.
Do you want to reinforce to me some of the resistance problems with weeds you're having in this part of the state for some farmers?
Yeah, it's a big problem. We have resistant kochia to a number of things and so forth. And so you can be doing a good job controlling your kochia, but it can blow in 20, 30, 40 miles away. So if you plan any program, look at, and there's a good chance you're going to have resistant weeds out there, so you've got to modify your herbicide control program. I know we had a lot of failures this past year because of some resistance to some of the herbicide modes of action, and so we got to do a better job of planning for that. A good reference for that is our weed management guide, EC 130, and it has a lot of categories in there on the herbicide modes of action and then how to handle the resistant weeds.
On the Market Journal website, we'll link to the 2015 Guide for Weed Management in Nebraska.